This is the Erin Cruz Show. Politics for the people and by the people. With your host, Erin Cruz.
Hello and welcome to the Erin Cruz Show. We have a really wonderful guest on with us this evening. Actually, I've seen a couple of her videos and they blow my mind. They're truth videos. I mean, she really shares the truth. And no PC right here. We have on with us Olivia Rondo. I mean, she's an amazing young woman. Thank you for coming on the Erin Cruz Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. So, I mean, I've been watching you out there, and a couple of people have said, you've got to have her on, you've got to have her on. And I said, well, we'll figure it out, And here we are. I have you on the show. I mean, what made you get to the point where you're like, gosh, I want to do this. I want to put videos out there. What made you get to that point?
Well, to put it simply, I'm fed up. I'm really fed up. The first video that made it big was my Blexit video back in October once I got back from the Young Black Leadership Summit with Candace Owens.
Right.
And so I made a video saying, like, this is why I'm Blexiting. You know what I mean? Like, this is why I'm leaving the Democratic plantation. Candace Owens posted it on her page, and it blew up from there. And then after that, I started, posting more of my opinions. Not so many videos, but
right.
Posting more of my opinions. I posted a picture of me in a Trump hat, which got thousands of comments. Hate, all hate. Maybe like 1% good comments.
Are you serious right now?
It was a lot of racist comments, sexist comments, just commenting on my appearance or things that weren't relevant at all.
For you being you.
Yeah, literally just for the hat. I didn't say anything inflammatory. And in fact, the caption of the picture was "Stay mad about it. Stay mad about it, low IQ haters." Because my haters
don't know how to use their words.
I
wonder. I mean, we were, in the pre-interview, we kind of talked about how you're just a truth getter. You just say it how it is. No PC. You and I are the same in that sense that you may not always say it right or well, right? But you just speak it and you just share information. I mean, if people who use that word or any other kinds of words like that to put somebody down to make themselves feel better or whatever it might be, do they not have a vocabulary? I wonder.
I guess not, because when I would say, I replied a couple of times before it became too much, I replied, do you want to debate or do you want to share your opinion? But there were no takers for the people who were disrespectful. So after that picture went viral, and after I got all this hate, I compiled screenshots of a lot of the hate comments I got and made a reaction video. And that just made my account take off. And ever since then, which was a couple weeks ago, I've been making videos, every couple or so days, reacting to things that politicians say or just saying my piece. So I think it's kind of a blessing in disguise that I got all this hate and now I can use it to make cool videos, I guess.
Well, there's something that's really dear to my heart. It's turn your anger into action. Something that I think that we don't do well is when we're frustrated about something, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, political, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. We should be constructive as human beings. And if we're frustrated with something, use that frustration to make real and actual change, whatever that might be, in a productive sense. And these people, they just, like you said, they just want to spew hate. They don't want actual solutions. Now, what you're doing is you're taking all that negativity and you're turning it into an opportunity to be able to make real and actual change and have a conversation. That's awesome. And you're young, right? Are you still in high school? Are you in college?
I'm a senior in high school. I just turned 18. God
bless you. You're going to make me cry. I'm like, okay. Last few weeks I've had on some college conservatives and their struggles on campus. They're Republicans or Republican groups. And, we have to go back further. The indoctrination is starting younger than that. And probably more in primary than, in high school even. But how is it on campus? I mean, what's the feedback there for what you're doing?
For my senior year, I've actually been doing online school. But for my freshman, sophomore year, I was at public school. And then my junior year, I was at private school.
Okay.
So I've had, a bunch of different experiences. I've bounced around schools basically my whole life. So, like,
Right.
I've gotten different reactions everywhere. But I've gotten into debates with teachers. I remember at my private school, which shall remain unnamed,
Right.
I got into a debate with my teacher over socialism versus capitalism.
Right.
And it was a little, I feel like it was a little bit over the line, because I feel like a teacher has no place to tell you what your opinion should be. They should just give you the facts. And so instead of giving me the facts,
we're going to quote you on that. Do you mind? We're going to make a meme with that on it, because it's true. They should be educating you, giving you the facts, and then letting you come to your conclusion where you want to stand on those facts. Not feelings, facts.
But instead of giving me the facts, he had drawn a Venn diagram, or like a table on the whiteboard, and said capitalism, evil, greedy, like money hungry, and then socialism, friendly, like it was loving. It was crazy. And then
wow.
Back in public school, my freshman year, I was actually quite liberal. I did not become a conservative until around the time of the 2016 election, like right before the voting took place. My freshman year, I didn't really know who Donald Trump was. I just knew he was a racist. That was basically it.
Maybe, where did you get that from? The news, or maybe people you were talking?
Definitely social media. I was like on Tumblr, Instagram, like just every social media, and like all my friends were telling me that, and I never really cared about politics at that point, so that's just what I knew. And I was actually in the Black Student Union freshman year, and I ended up getting kicked out of the Black Student Union because they tried to run this anti-hate speech campaign. They were very, very...
Did they use a anti-hate speech?
They were just like...
I always am confused about this.
They were like trying to ban all these words, and they were talking like, oh, like no Trump supporters and everything like that. And so once I came out and was like, I think I'm kind of like not liberal. I didn't say I was a Republican. I just said, I'm like, I don't think I'm that liberal. They were just like, oh, well, you don't share our views, and so they kicked me out.
Wow, so to have an opposing view or your own opinion is not individual liberties, your ability to think for yourself, those kinds of things are not accepted by that particular group. That's really sad. That the people who are calling for no hate, less hate are actually divisive and hateful. Or not inclusive.
It was supposed to be like unity with like my public school, it was like 90% white, and there was out of a like population of like 1,200 in the school, there was probably like 40 black kids. So it was like a tight knit group of people that had a Black Student Union just for it was like once a week at lunch. It wasn't super serious.
Right.
So I had fun. I went with my friends and all that kind of stuff. But it was more about being liberal and PC than it was about being black or embracing yourself. They didn't allow black people...
Or culture, or family, or roots, or anything that one would... I mean, you look at any groups. I'll include white, Hispanic, Asian, African American, whatever it might be that you're looking at your history. I mean, I see there are a lot of Irish people here in the United States who are just celebrating, St. Patrick's Day, and they were doing their parades, and some, I mean, it doesn't matter who it is if you're celebrating your culture, or where, your roots, whatever it might be. Great, but why the hate? Why the divisiveness?
Trust me, we did not talk about black culture. We did not talk about anything positive related to black people. We did not even talk about the negative things that we need to fix. We didn't talk about the lack of fatherhood, or the unemployment rate, or the homelessness, or anything like that. We didn't talk about that. What we talked about was, oh, the racist white people keeping us down. There's a racist Donald Trump, the racist this, the racist that. All we talked about, in Black Student Union, all we talked about was white people. That was it. Like, we didn't talk about black issues. It was crazy.
Or solutions, yeah. Because you have the issues, you have the solutions, and then the action to actually make things happen.
We had nothing good that came out of that group.
Well, I'm glad actually that this has happened in essence, because here you are speaking with us today and sharing with us, your journey. And like you said, you were featured on Candace Owens' page, and that really helped get your voice out there. And your voice is a voice that needs to be heard. One of the things that I thought was interesting when I saw the other day, you were doing like a side-by-side comparison, and I think it was college, and maybe I missed the context, but I believe it was one of the videos where you had a side-by-side. You were going over what one person individual was saying, and then you were saying, wait. Did they just say what I thought they said? So there was this one gal on there, and it looked like it was on a campus, a college campus or something. And she happened to be white, and she happened to be youthful, probably a college student. And she said something about blacks, African Americans, whatever you want to, identify with. She mentioned something about how these people can't think for themselves, that they are not educated enough or have the ability enough to go get an ID to be able then to register to vote. That's why we don't have voter ID or something like that. Tell us about that. I mean, tell us about what inspired you to make that video and what your conclusions were there. I thought it was really interesting.
Well, with each election cycle, the debate always comes back up to, the front burner. Do we need voter ID laws? Which I agree with. I think we do. Because what negative could come out of just verifying who you are before you cast a vote in the election? I think, if anything, that would invite foreign interference, not Russian collusion. It would be people who are non-citizens voting without IDs. So that's my stance on it.
It's another balance. Check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. Georgia has it. Georgia has voter ID. A couple of other states have it.
Right.
So you had this on there, and you thought you wanted to address it, but it was interesting to me, your perspective, because what she said was basically African Americans aren't smart enough, and you just right straight out and said it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like these liberals, they don't hear themselves when they say it. They say, oh, that's racist because black people are too poor, or they're too dumb, or they're felons, so they can't vote because felons can't vote. It was just, they had so many excuses.
But rather than look for the opportunities or the abilities.
They have no solutions, but only excuses. Meanwhile, it's not that hard to get an ID. It's not that hard to go to the DMV. It's not that hard to purchase one. They're not that expensive. It's just ridiculous.
It's just another excuse to have insecure or non-secure or lack of security in our voting systems. I hear you there. So now, what do you think you're going to do next? I mean, you're starting to get a lot of visibility. The word is getting out, but people like you are going to start speaking out and not being part of, what did you say, part of the pardon my forgetting what you said, but you're not going to be slaves anymore is essentially what y'all said. The plantation. So, they can't keep you back and they can't hold you down. So what's next for you and others like you? Do you really think that more people will come conservative or move in the, not even conservative, but thinking independently away from that Democrat lockdown?
Yeah, my goal is to not be like a Republican spokesperson. It's just, have people think independently. I don't want black people to have to be Democrat or have to be Republican. I want the parties to earn everybody's vote. I want candidates to earn people's vote. And so where I'm going in the future, I mean, I'm about to go to college in the fall. I'm majoring in political science.
That's awesome.
I plan on joining like college Republicans groups and things like that. So if I can turn my activism into something more into the real world, because I would rather get into grassroots, like, being popular online is really cool and all that, but I really want to translate that into the real world where I can hold like groups and things like that on college campuses where, like-minded people or maybe other-minded people can come and debate or learn something.
Right. Well, this is something that we spoke about actually the last 2 weeks on my show, the Erin Cruz show, was this issue. Is the translation from high school to college, then from college to the real world. And how do we get the people who are on college campuses to accept the fact that there might be views that differ from their own? Be it you're an independent or a Democrat or just call it maybe you're a liberal or you're a conservative. and not being so offended by it just so much as just wanting to be able to understand where somebody else might be coming from. And if you want to be involved in that group, be involved in that group. And then translating that into being politically active in your community, because really that's what it's at, is strengthening the community. Like what you're saying is, I can't, everything I can do online, that's great, but how do I translate that to the real world? Well, the best thing you can do is share with your community, better your community, be it your family, your neighborhood, your city, your state, and the nation. And then with social media, you can be nationwide. You can actually be worldwide, which is phenomenal. But I am glad to hear that you want to be involved on campus. The other thing I'm glad to hear about now, I'm a Republican, but I am glad to hear that you want to speak to everybody, because I think the message has to be, what are your beliefs? Where do you stand? And what does liberty mean to you? And then people can think and decide. Now, I have to ask you, you say you want to be you're a political science major.
Yes.
Have you been accepted into a university yet, or?
Yes, I am wrestling for East Stroudsburg University in Pennsylvania.
Okay, well, that's exciting. And then, what do you know what you want to be when you grow up? Have you decided, or are you going to let that journey unfold while you're going through college?
Well, my focus for my major, I signed up for public administration, so that could open a lot of doors. Public office is something that I would love to do in the future, or I could work in the private sector as sort of like a government liaison. But I was recently at the United Nations actually for a women's empowerment in sports talk, which in conjunction with the International Olympic Committee, and I was probably the youngest person there.
Can we tell everybody what you like to do? What is your passion? I hear you like. Yes, come on. So this beautiful woman right here. So tell us what you're involved in. You're involved in sport, right?
Yes, I am a 6-time All-American wrestler, national champion, state champion, just all that good stuff. And I like to tie it in with my politics a lot of the time.
That's wonderful. Well, you're a strong, powerful young woman, and you should use every opportunity that you have to get your message through, whatever that message is. And I just love it. I'm in heaven right now. So, I thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And thank you for being a part of the community and being a strong voice. So now, you were at this women's empowerment meeting. What was that like for you? I mean, was it highly liberal? Was it empowering? Was it what it actually came across to be?
It was, first of all, it was very surreal to be there as a teenager among all these ambassadors from other countries. It was just insane. And it to me, it seemed very bipartisan, very apolitical. It was just talking about, they were giving awards to a woman from every continent for her work in women's equality in sports. So there was a woman there who was the first volleyball referee in Africa, and it was crazy, and she was a very young woman as well, and that was just insane to me, how some places don't have as many opportunities for women in sports as America does. So that was very eye-opening for me. I loved it, and I got to talk to ambassadors from other countries. So I got to talk to I think it was the Coalition for Gender Equality in Sports or something like that. I got to talk to the representatives from the UK and Finland.
That's wonderful.
And they had never heard of a girl wrestling boys before. It's just not a thing in Europe, I guess. I don't know. But it was just amazing to talk about it. And then they were asking, well, what are you going to do with your major? What are you going to use this for? And but I have a plan though, because I'm from Maryland. I'm from around the Baltimore and DC metropolitan area. And to be frank, the educational system, the city in general, is just corrupt. I think we need to drain the swamp. So
we're trying to drain the California swamp. I want to be in Congress. I'm running for the 36th congressional district this go around. I would love to help drain that DC swamp. I think Ted Cruz called it the DC cartel, and then obviously President Donald Trump calls it the swamp. Yeah. So We need to drain it, that's for sure. So that's where you're from, and so you've seen it firsthand in the educational system and otherwise. Tell us about that.
Well, for instance, Baltimore County spends more money per student than I think every other county in America right now, definitely in Maryland, but they have one of the lowest graduation rates. Their kids don't read on grade level. They don't perform math on grade level. They have high rates of truancy. And this is sort of anecdotal, but my wrestling coach, actually, his son goes to a school in Baltimore County. He had to buy space heaters and donate them to the school so the kids would have heat this past winter. But they spend more money per student than any other county, than other high-performing counties. But they have no heat, no air conditioning, no graduation, no attendance. They have crumbling buildings. It's just a mess. I mean,
I wonder where is all our money going to? And I mean, that's Maryland, but I can tell you that federal dollars go there too. So, you know, I just wonder, we're taxed so high.
Oh, the Baltimore mayor, I don't know if you saw this, but as of yesterday, the Baltimore mayor has been asked to resign because she basically exploited the school system and sold her own line of books to the school system for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's the whole Democratic shebang. Like, they're all in it. They all just sell stuff to their friends. They don't give any of it back to the kids, the community. They let the kids grow up without an education, without a father. It's just ridiculous.
Well, it's sad, and it sounds like there need to be a lot of solutions put into place there. I mean, and we know that there are people with solutions out there running for office or trying to do the big thing, but the corruption that's surrounding all of these things, the bureaucracy, the corruption surrounding it all is part of the biggest problem, is getting past that. It's just such a shame, but you know what? There's a light. And I see it, and it's coming right from you. And I know you're not alone. See, this is the thing: is that I can't remember what the quote was, but it was really interesting. At one point, I heard, and it was Oprah Winfrey who had said it. And I'm not exactly a huge fan of Oprah Winfrey's for many reasons, but sometimes she has over the years said pretty amazing things. But she was talking to consumers on one of her shows, and she said something about, speak up and say something, because if you say something to a corporation, there are at least 1,000 other people just like you thinking just the same thing that didn't have the ability to step up, and the corporations know it. So when one person speaks up, they'll start to listen, because of 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. I mean, we're out there, folks.
Right.
And I'm speaking to the listeners right now. Olivia is not alone. She's not the only young person with independent thought and visions and plans for the future. There are many, 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 many more just like her, but we have to reach out of ourselves and connect with girls like her and young men, who need that support, because you need that support. Now, speaking of support, how is your support at home for all of this new exciting stuff that you've been doing?
It's pretty great. My dad is a self-proclaimed Black independent. He actually runs a Facebook page where he posts like his conservative things. So he's been doing this social media stuff for a while as well. My mother, she's very open-minded. Also like an independent voter. She voted for Obama, then voted for Trump. So we are not strictly Republican or Democrat in this house. We're just very open-minded.
You're very open to, well, are you liberty-minded? Because I think that we're having the wrong discussion out there sometimes. It's more politics and party-based than it is about the root issues, which is liberty and individual rights and freedoms, because that's what a lot of people don't want to get down to, is talking about the individual rights and freedoms. And your ability to choose what you do with your money, with your time, with everything that you have and that you are, what our founding fathers fought for coming here from overseas, and so I think getting back to that conversation might help, and that's why I love Candace Owens. And then I was listening to you, and you were just straight hitting the issues. I'm like, yes, another young voice. So, what message, I want to take just like about 3 minutes and give you a few minutes to share with people, what message do you have for the people listening today about about you, what's going on with you, what you see going on in the world, and where can people find out more about the work that you're doing?
Well, being a wrestler and being a female wrestler, I feel like that has put me in a position to where my ideas sort of stem from, I guess, hard work, personal responsibility, all that kind of stuff. So that translates to my political beliefs. I believe in, the Constitution. I want small government. I don't want a whole lot of taxes for all these unnecessary government programs. I just kind of want the government to like leave us alone and protect us when necessary. I guess is what you could say about my political beliefs about like big or small government. And my goal in talking to people is to kind of expose the hypocrisy on the left. I think the left is the most hypocritical group right now. I feel like Republicans in general are quite straightforward with what they want. They're not racist. They're not bigots. No Republicans. Donald Trump is not saying, I hate black people or put black people back in slavery or black people are too stupid or too dumb to vote. That's what the white liberals are saying, that black people are too stupid and dumb to get IDs to vote. Or like they want to take away gun rights in black majority cities. Chicago, New York, DC, Baltimore. Those places don't have good gun rights, but they're all black majority cities. Are they saying that black people are either more dangerous or have no right to protect themselves? I think that the left is actually very detrimental, and that's why I kind of align myself with like the Blexit movement more than any other movement, because I think it's very detrimental to black people to vote 95% Democrat. I think it's awful. I think there's no reason why there should, like the black free thinkers should not, disperse themselves more on like the scale, I guess.
Right. And I think you mentioned something interesting there is basically be a free thinker. Look in the mirror. And I think that goes across racial lines, frankly. I don't care what ethnicity you are, what gender you are, how you identify. Look in the mirror and determine, do you want liberty? Do you believe in your individual rights and freedoms? Because the Democrat Party, or shall I say, those people who've taken over the Democrat Party, the progressive leftists, they want to take freedoms. They want to take money away to give it to everybody else. That's taking liberty away. You take something from somebody, you're taking away their liberty, whatever it might be, and you're giving it to somebody else. They want to, for example, you brought up Chicago or New York, places with very strict gun laws, by the way, some of the strictest gun laws around, and yet they have the highest level of crime rate and gun-related incidents. I don't think that has anything to do with being black, white, Asian, Hispanic, or anything else. I think it has to do with corrupt government, out of control situations, and crime-related type issues, which, now some might argue with me, I believe are not race related. I believe we have a serious American issue right now, a cultural issue as Americans, where we have to come together and figure out how to heal our communities. Period. And you bring up that interesting topic, because you brought up those different cities with those gun laws. I mean, do the powers that be, do the leftists think that certain demographics don't have the right because they just can't, whatever it might be? We have to start waking up. That I believe, and maybe you can weigh in on this, I believe that the politicians literally are banking on those people not paying attention and not listening, and literally taking whatever rights and freedoms, using whatever speech that they can. So the media will say whatever they can, the politicians will say whatever they can, so they can take your freedom and take your liberties. What do you think about that?
It's very apparent that people are looking at, especially the younger generation, but black people and minorities and everybody in general, but especially I think young minorities, that we're not going to look for the answers. We don't care about politics, and we're not going to search for the truth. And so I'm trying to put out there that I am searching for the truth. I'm spreading the truth, and people are listening to it. And I'm just like the catalyst. I'm just the vehicle, just spreading what people are actually saying and what is the actual message of the left.
Well, and thank you for that. And I think you also just there mentioned something really great about young minorities. And they do need to start thinking for themselves. All young people need to start thinking for themselves, because the Bernie Sanders would have nothing better than to take the majority of all of your money and spend it out in different programs, and then your children and your children's children and your children's children and your children's children are going to be the ones paying for it. It's a real big concern. So
Right.
now you're in the generation where Bernie Sanders is like all the rave, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
I mean, how does that make you feel, or what do you think about that? Those are two separate questions.
I think the majority of young Bernie Sanders supporters are very misinformed. They hear him. I mean, we're about to go into college, right? So they hear him talk about free college, free healthcare. They're like, hell yeah, right? But they don't understand that nothing is free. Nothing is free. And they're talking about, oh, capitalism is ruining the world. Capitalism isn't compatible with human nature. It's not compatible with this and that. Rich people are evil, and like poor people should steal from the rich. And that's just not how it works. If you look in any like nature system, nature is capitalism. Nature is not socialist. Nature does not redistribute anything. It's just honestly the survival of the fittest. Now, in a civilized society, obviously we have nets to catch people, but we don't have huge government programs to just let people leech off of other people's hard work. And so that's
we need to shut them down, in my opinion, and encourage people to become self-supporting.
Right.
But go on. I think your point there is great about nature being capitalistic. It blows my mind that there are those people who believe in Darwin or whatever it might be, yet they think that socialism is good. And I'm thinking, how can that work? How can you have both of those mindsets at the same time? Like, think. So where can people find you on social media, Olivia?
Well, on Twitter, which is my main platform, I am at Rondo Olivia. And then on Instagram, I'm Olivia Ron. And then YouTube is just my name, Olivia Rondo. I've started to upload a lot of my videos on there. And also I have a few wrestling matches on there if people want to see those. But
watch them, you guys. I mean, you are a powerful woman. I mean, you're powerful in mind and body and spirit. I mean, it's really great to just see you come out politically and talk about the issues, because we desperately need truth to keep liberty going.
I agree.
Well, would you like to come on the Erin Cruz show again at some point? We would love to hear how college is going.
That would be awesome. I'll let you guys know when I get there.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you again, Olivia, for being on the Erin Cruz show. Keep spreading the good word. And folks, follow her, share her message, converse with her. Let her know what you think about the show right here. Share the show and stay connected. On the Erin Cruz show, we have the Patriot Connection, where we connect people with other patriots. We also have the Candidate Connection, connecting people with the candidates. It's important we stay connected and united in the fight for liberty and freedom for this great republic. God bless each and every one of you. And again, Olivia, thank you for coming on the Erin Cruz show.
To hear more and to learn more on how you can make an impact or about the Erin Cruz Show, visit us online at erincruz.com. That's ERINCRUZ.com. Thank you for joining us, and see you at the same time and the same place next week.